This is Bree, Allie, and Leah talking about Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's disease is characterized by death of dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra, nerve cells in the basal ganglia that have become impaired or have died. This is reducing dopamine, a neurotransmitter essential for smooth, coordinated movement.
There are some changes that can occur with Parkinson's disease. They can be physical, emotional, or cognitive, and they primarily affect movement, but can also impact mood, cognition, and autonomic functions over time.
So, some physical changes that you're going to see are tremor at rest, usually like a pill rolling movement. There's also akinesia and bradykinesia, hypokinesia, postural instability, muscle rigidity, which is usually advanced stages. And again, that bradykinesia is just slowness of the movement or pausing. The hypokinesia is decreased size or range of motion, where movements become smaller and less expressive. And then the hypomimia is diminished arm swinging or shuffled gait. And that gait imbalance problem is with the postural instability.
Some emotional changes that can arise with Parkinson's disease. Most commonly reported are emotional changes such as depression, anxiety, apathy, psychosis, personality changes, and pseudobulbar effect. Apathy can be characterized as a seeming lack of motivation or emotion. Psychosis can include hallucinations or delusions. Pseudobulbar condition is uncontrolled laughter or crying that's often mismatched for the situation. And as seen on the image on the right, 50% of people with Parkinson's disease will experience some form of depression, along with 40% of people with Parkinson's disease experience an anxiety disorder.
For cognitive changes across the board, you can see reduced attention, reduced memory, reduced executive function, visual perceptual deficits, word finding difficulty, and then fatigue and sensory symptoms. Beyond that, dementia can occur in 15 to 20% of people with Parkinson's, so they will see those attention, memory, and executive function deficits be more pronounced.
So the first assessment we're going to talk about today is commonly used with Parkinson's disease, and it's the Unified Parkinson's Disease Rating Scale, or the UPDRS for short. The scale measures the severity and progression of Parkinson's and is broken up into parts that are specific to different aspects of the disease. In the diagram on the right, the 4 parts are listed. Part 1 is mentation, behavior, and mood. Part 2 covers ADLs. Part 3 focuses on motor examination, and Part 4 covers complications of therapy. Each question scored from 0 to 4, 0 being no problems, 4 being severe problems. The Movement Disorder Society updated the UPDRS in the early 2000s to make it more standardized, user-friendly, and revise limitations. And OTs have a role in administering this because it can help us track changes over time, have standardized data to refer to, and assess the efficacy of our treatments.
The Parkinson's Disease Questionnaire 39 is a 39-item self-report questionnaire, and it's looking at quality of life across 8 domains, one of which is ADLs. It's a 5-point scale, Likert scale from never to always. It takes 10 to 20 minutes. It's pen and paper, so it's fairly low burden to do. The categories are mobility, ADLs, emotional well-being, stigma, social support, cognition, communication, and bodily discomfort. So it's really covering a lot of the changes that happen with Parkinson's.
So, the first unstandardized assessment that we have is called a timed dual task walking. So the task, you're going to have the client walk 10 meters at a comfortable pace while simultaneously performing cognitive tasks such as saying every other letter of the alphabet or counting by threes. Time duration of the walk, observing their gait quality, freezing episodes, and cognitive motor interference. Behind this rationale, we want to identify difficulty and fall risk, uncovers the freezing triggers by cognitive load. It stimulates real world multitasking. It tests cueing strategies, tracks fatigue and endurance. Another one that I've found that is unstandardized is a simplified 7-sense smell test. This is in the works to be standardized because it works so well. What is it? Is a quick olfactory screening tool designed to detect early signs of PD by testing smell recognition. How it works, you use 7 specific scents like licorice, banana, clove, rose, mint, pineapple, and cinnamon. If a person misses 3 or more, it may indicate a higher risk of PD or dementia with Lewy bodies. Why it matters, over 90% of people with PD experience olfactory dysfunction, which is hypomia. Olfactory screening is a valuable low-cost tool for detecting early non-motor symptoms of PD when interventions are more effective. Matches the accuracy of longer tests like the UPSIT and Sniff and Sticken. It's U 0.87 and it engages working memory and executive function.
So now we'll cover some interventions that can be used with Parkinson's. The first ones are handwriting interventions. Parkinson's affects handwriting due to small, slow movements referred to as micrographia. And this can be seen when handwriting's hard to read due to its small size and the letters are cramped together. It also affects motor planning, which can interfere with the writing task. Some common symptoms that may impede handwriting are tremors, dystonia, which are involuntary muscle contractions, or dyskinesia, which is uncontrolled repetitive muscle movements. Um, Adding weight to a writing implement can help counterbalance against the uncontrolled movements, leading to smoother lines. The added weight also enhances proprioception and sensory feedback, leading to a more steady grip and less need to exert large amounts of force. These are all examples shown in the images on the right side. OTs can make any handwriting tasks fit the needs of the individual client. Some ideas or ways to implement a weighted writing tool into a functional task would be planning meals for the day, writing about a font memory, journaling about highs and lows of the day, or writing a note. It could also be used to plan medication management or create to-do lists as reminders throughout the day. And handwriting for individuals with Parkinson's can be used to target all their functional needs.
The laser shoe attachment for functional mobility can be used during IADLs. We've seen laser attachments for walkers, they make them for canes, but the laser shoe attachment is for somebody with PD who still doesn't need an assistive mobility device. So freezing of gait is one of the motor symptoms that impacts people with Parkinson's when they're walking over uneven surfaces or walking while doing other tasks. It becomes particularly prominent. The laser shoe attachments help clients because they look at it and try to step over it instead of staying frozen in the walking pattern. So to incorporate this with IADLs, I would have them set the table for refreshments on a patio. We're anticipating that carrying the items and setting them down is a more complex motor task than simply walking. The patio likely has an uneven surface, but not so uneven that it's dangerous, but like it might have grout or like a stone type surface. It would also probably have a door threshold from the indoors wherever the materials were. So it involves cognitive aspects of planning what to take to the table, which is also beneficial, but they can practice using the laser attachments in that occupationally grounded setting.
So there is a therapeutic drumming for OT intervention. This helps the brain's motor system naturally sync to steady external rhythms. In Parkinson's, impaired basal ganglia timing disrupts movement initiation. External cues like drumming help initiate and sustain motion, enhance neuroplasticity and cognitive functioning through repetitive goal-directed activity, improve gait, coordination, and posture. It boosts the mood as well and reduces anxiety, promotes pain relief via endorphins and sensory distraction, and it combines neurological activation with emotional engagement, making it a full body and brain workout.
These are our references. Thank you so much for listening.